What if I told you your personality is not who you are, it's who you've practiced being? Think about that. Every reaction you've had, every habit you repeat, every way you speak, think, and respond, it's all learned. And if it's learned, it can be redesigned. Right now, most people are living on autopilot. Same thoughts, same emotions, same behaviors. Different day, same identity. But the people you admire, the ones who walk into a room and instantly command respect, they didn't get lucky. They built themselves, deliberately. And today, you're going to learn exactly how. Your personality is not fixed. It's not something you were born with and stuck with forever. It's a living system, an evolving expression. Every single day, you are either reinforcing your current self or upgrading it. The problem is, most people wait for transformation to feel dramatic. They think change should look like a breakthrough moment. But real transformation? It's quiet. It happens in the small decisions, choosing to stay calm instead of reacting, listening instead of interrupting, acting instead of procrastinating. These moments seem small, but they compound, and over time, they build a completely different version of you. If you want to improve your personality, you need to start with one thing: self-awareness, because you can't change what you don't notice. Most people go through life reacting blindly. They get angry without asking why. They feel insecure without understanding the trigger. They repeat patterns without questioning them. But self-aware people, they pause, they observe. They ask, why did I react like that? What was I feeling in that moment? Was that aligned with who I want to become? And that simple pause changes everything. Because now, you're no longer controlled by your emotions. You're guiding them. Start small. At the end of each day, reflect. What went well? What didn't? What would I do differently? This daily check-in becomes your internal compass. And slowly, you begin to see yourself clearly. Here's something most people misunderstand. A powerful personality is not about being loud. It's about being felt. And the fastest way to become magnetic is empathy. The ability to truly understand people. Not just hear their words, but feel what they're going through. Because people don't remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. In a world full of distractions, real listening is rare. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply. But when you give someone your full attention, when you make them feel seen, something powerful happens. They trust you. They open up. They connect with you on a deeper level. And that's influence. Practice this. Maintain eye contact. Don't interrupt. Ask deeper questions. Respond with intention, not impulse. Say things like, "Tell me more about that. How did that make you feel?" These small shifts transform your presence. If you want a strong personality, feed your mind, because your thoughts shape your words, and your words shape your identity. A person who learns daily becomes someone who thinks deeply, and people can feel that depth. Reading, listening, observing, they expand your perspective. They sharpen your thinking. They give you something most people lack: clarity. You begin to speak with insight, ask better questions, understand different viewpoints. And that makes you interesting. Not because you're trying to impress, but because you've taken the time to grow. Even 10 minutes a day is enough, because knowledge compounds. one idea today, another tomorrow. And over time, you become someone others look to for perspective. Your words are powerful, not just because of what they say, but because of how they feel. Every sentence you speak leaves an impression on people, on environments, on yourself. If your words are filled with negativity, complaints, gossip, people associate you with heaviness. But if your words are intentional, calm, uplifting, you become someone people want to be around. And here's the truth. Confidence is not loud. It's clear. It's controlled. It's purposeful. Before you speak, ask, is this necessary? Is this helpful? Is this aligned with who I want to be? This one habit will elevate your personality instantly. You don't become confident overnight. You build confidence through consistency. Every small habit you repeat sends a message to your brain. This is who I am. Waking up on time, keeping your promises, staying organized. These aren't just routines. They're identity builders. Because when you trust yourself, you move differently, you speak differently, you carry yourself with certainty. And people notice that, not because you're trying to impress, but because you're stable, reliable, grounded. That's real confidence. Growth is uncomfortable. There's no way around it. If you keep doing what feels easy, you stay the same. But every time you step outside your comfort zone, you expand your identity. Speak when you feel nervous. Try something new. Put yourself in unfamiliar situations. At first, it feels awkward, but that's the point. Because confidence isn't built in comfort. It's built in challenge. And every time you face discomfort, you prove to yourself, I can handle more than I think. That belief changes everything. Discipline is not punishment. It's power. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. And that's what separates average from exceptional. Most people rely on motivation, but motivation fades. Discipline stays. It's waking up when it's hard, staying focused when distractions call, doing the right thing when no one is watching. And here's what happens when you build discipline. You gain control, not over others, but over yourself. And that's the highest form of power. The most powerful transformations are invisible. No one sees the early mornings, the internal battles, the small choices you make every day. But over time, those choices build something undeniable, a presence, a confidence, a personality that doesn't need to prove anything because it's already solid. You stop chasing attention and start commanding respect. So if you take anything from this, remember this: you are not stuck. You are not fixed. You are not defined by your past. You are shaped by what you repeatedly do. And starting today, you have a choice: to stay the same or to rebuild yourself, one decision at a time. Because the person you want to become is already waiting on the other side of consistency. And here's where things start to shift on a deeper level. Because improving your personality is not just about what you do. It's about who you believe you are. Most people try to change their habits without changing their identity. They say, I'll try to be more confident. I'll try to be more disciplined. I'll try to be better. But trying keeps you stuck in the same version of yourself. Real transformation begins when you stop trying and start deciding. You don't try to be confident. You decide, I am someone who shows up with confidence. You don't try to be disciplined. You decide, I am someone who follows through. And once that decision is made, your actions begin to align with it, because identity drives behavior, always. The identity shift most people miss. Think about this carefully. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. When you procrastinate, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who delays. When you avoid difficult conversations, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who escapes discomfort. But when you act with intention, even in small ways, you start casting votes for a stronger identity. And over time, those votes build certainty. This is why small actions matter more than big intentions. Because identity is not built in one moment. It's built in repetition, quietly, consistently. The danger of unconscious patterns. Most people are not living intentionally. They're living reactively. They wake up, scroll their phone, rush through the day, respond emotionally, and repeat. There's no awareness, no direction, no conscious control. And slowly, their personality becomes a product of their environment, instead of a product of their choice. But when you become aware, you interrupt the pattern. You stop reacting automatically. You start choosing deliberately. And that's when your personality becomes powerful, because it's no longer random, it's designed. Your environment is shaping you. Take a moment and look around your life. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the conversations you engage in. All of it is shaping you. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, complaints become normal. If you're surrounded by distraction, focus becomes difficult. If you're surrounded by people who settle, growth feels unnecessary. This is why intentional environments matter, because your personality adapts to what you repeatedly experience. So ask yourself, does your environment support the person you want to become? Or is it reinforcing who you've been? You don't always need to completely change your environment, but you do need to become selective. Choose better inputs, because better inputs create better outputs. The power of internal dialogue. Now let's go even deeper. There's a voice in your head, constantly speaking, narrating your life, interpreting your experiences, and that voice shapes your personality more than anything else. If your inner dialogue sounds like, I'm not good enough, I always mess things up, I can't do this, then no matter what you try externally, you'll feel stuck internally. But if you begin to shift that voice, everything changes. Not with fake positivity, but with intentional truth. Replace, I can't do this, with, I'm learning how to do this. Replace, I always fail, with, I'm improving with every attempt. This isn't just mindset, it's identity reconstruction, because the way you speak to yourself becomes the way you show up in the world. Energy is your hidden language. People may not always remember your words, but they always feel your energy. You've experienced this before. Someone walks into a room, and without saying anything, you can feel their presence. That's not luck. That's alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, you project clarity, confidence, calm. But when you're internally conflicted, it shows. In your tone, your posture, your reactions. This is why inner work matters, because your external personality is just a reflection of your internal state. Building a calm, powerful presence. One of the most underrated traits is calmness. Not weakness, not passivity, but controlled composure. In a world where people react instantly, the person who pauses stands out. The person who doesn't get easily triggered commands respect. The person who remains steady under pressure feels powerful. And this doesn't come naturally. It's practiced. You build it by slowing down your reactions, observing your emotions instead of becoming them, choosing responses instead of default reactions. Over time, you become someone who is not easily shaken, and that stability becomes part of your personality. Stop seeking validation. Start building self-respect. Another major shift happens when you stop needing approval. Most people shape their personality based on how others respond. They speak to impress, act to be liked, hide parts of themselves to be accepted. But this creates inconsistency because you're constantly adjusting instead of being grounded. True personality strength comes from self-respect, from knowing, I don't need everyone to agree with me, but I need to stay aligned with myself. When you operate from that place, you become authentic. And authenticity is magnetic, because people can feel when someone is real. The role of failure in shaping you. Let's talk about something most people avoid: failure. Because failure doesn't just test your skills, it reveals your personality. Do you shut down, blame others, avoid trying again? Or do you reflect, adjust, grow? Every failure is feedback, but only if you're willing to see it that way. The strongest personalities are not built from success alone. They are shaped through challenges, through discomfort, through moments where giving up would be easier, but you choose to continue. And every time you do that, you strengthen your character. Consistency over intensity. Many people start strong, but they don't last. They feel motivated for a few days, maybe a week, and then they fall back. Why? Because they rely on intensity. But intensity is temporary. Consistency is what transforms you. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up regularly, even when you don't feel like it, even when progress is slow. Because every small effort is building something bigger beneath the surface. The quiet power of self-control. Self-control is one of the most powerful traits you can develop. Not controlling others, but controlling yourself, your emotions, your impulses, your reactions. When you master this, you become unpredictable in the best way, because you don't react like everyone else. You respond with intention, and that makes people pay attention. Because they can't easily read or trigger you, you become steady, grounded, in control. Becoming someone people trust. At the end of the day, a strong personality is not just admired, it's trusted. People trust those who keep their word, stay consistent, act with integrity. Not sometimes, but repeatedly. Trust is not built through big moments. It's built through small, consistent actions. And once you earn it, your presence carries weight. Your words matter more. Your influence grows. You are always in progress. Here's the truth most people forget. There is no final version of you. No perfect personality you suddenly reach. Growth doesn't end. You evolve, you adapt, you refine. And that's the beauty of it, because it means you're never stuck. No matter where you are right now, you can change direction. You can rebuild. You can become something stronger, more aware, more intentional, more powerful. So as you move forward, don't look for shortcuts. Don't wait for motivation. Don't expect instant transformation. Focus on the small things, the daily choices, the quiet discipline, because that's where real change happens. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll look back and notice something different, not just in what you do, but in who you've become. And that's when you'll understand. You didn't just improve your personality, you rebuilt your identity.